Hello and welcome to the CDI Virtual Studios. Thank you for joining us for the second CDI Technology Summit. I'm Will Huber, Chief Technology Officer at CDI, and for the next 40 minutes or so, I'd like to share with you what CDI has been up to since our first Technology Summit in November of this past year. We'll provide an update on our portfolio of solutions and capabilities, and then share some examples on how we are enabling digital business outcomes for many of our clients. This Technology Summit is record-breaking for CDI on multiple levels. First, it is the first time that we're delivering the summit in a 100% digital format. Like many of you, the global health pandemic has forced us to be dynamic and to interact with our customers and our partners in new and creative ways. And this summit is a great example of that. Second, for the first time ever, we have 23 sponsoring companies participating in this event. Hopefully you had a chance to check out their booths in the virtual expo hall and to interact with many of them, as well as to check out some of the lightning round talks that took place earlier today. I'd like to take a moment and thank our sponsoring partners for supporting the Tech Summit today. Without you, this event would simply not be possible. Third, and most importantly, this Technology Summit is the single most attended event in CDI's history. By switching the format and leveraging a digital platform, we've extended our reach and as a result have over 1,000 registered attendees for the event today. The registrations come from over 800 unique companies from nearly all industries, and registered attendees are logged in from 34 of the 50 United States. We are very proud and incredibly grateful that you've decided to spend time with us and our partners today. We hope that you find the content today informative and valuable, and that we can provide you with a little bit of entertainment during the way. So, speaking of entertainment, let's talk quickly about what's going to happen after the keynote. So coming up at the top of the hour, immediately following this keynote, we will have what we're calling our IT Leadership Host and Roast panel, featuring Comedy Central's Roastmaster General Jeff Ross. Jeff and CDI's President of Sales, Rich Falcone, will host a panel of executives from CDI, from Dell, Pure Storage, Rubrik, ServiceNow, and VMware. I'm pumped about the lineup here. It's not every day that you have executives from each of these companies sharing one stage together. So I'm looking forward to some valuable conversation, maybe a few laughs, and Jeff, if you're watching, please go easy on me. After the roast, Brett Michaels from Poison, Rock of Love, and most recently the Banana on The Unmasked Singer will be joining us to play a couple songs and to answer some of your questions that you asked during the registration process. Each of you will have an opportunity to win a customized autographed guitar from Brett. All you need to do to be entered to win is to fill out our event survey, which is important to us because your feedback helps shape the future of events like this, ensuring that they are as valuable and as relevant to you as possible. Okay, so with that out of the way, let's get on with the program. In today's world, technology is the lifeblood that runs our businesses. We're seeing companies today utilizing technology to deliver differentiated products and digital experiences for their customers. These digital experiences are driving an immense amount of complexity on technology infrastructure and operations. To further complicate things, our workforces are now completely distributed. Customer IT departments are challenged today with building and managing infrastructure platforms to traditional data centers, the cloud, the edge, and everywhere in between. This heightens the importance of building upon a solid foundation, which is where CDI and our network of partners come in. CDI's mission, to put it very simply, is to enable and to help our customers accelerate their journey to digital transformation by implementing that strong foundation. This is something that we call the Digital Infrastructure Foundation. The Digital Infrastructure Foundation is comprised of multiple sections, each of which represent capabilities in CDI's portfolio of offerings. It starts with the hybrid multi-cloud. The hybrid cloud infrastructure is the landing zone of compute, network, and storage resources that host both traditional and cloud-native workloads. Sitting atop the hybrid cloud infrastructure are supporting capabilities, DevOps, intelligent operations, enterprise workflow, and digital workspace. These supporting areas are critical to enabling the consumption and the operationalization of the hybrid cloud infrastructure. Across these domains are security and automation. In today's world, we live by the motto, secure and automate everything. CDI does not view security and automation as independent disciplines, Rather, we believe that they need to be embedded and spread across all aspects of the infrastructure and application environments. All of these technologies working together will enable and accelerate your business's transformational initiatives. Now, CDI, of course, is not a hardware or a software manufacturer. We're a technology integrator. We represent over 70 companies and open source technologies across all aspects of the digital foundation, many of which are sponsors at today's event. CDI's value to you as a customer is putting all the ingredients together to build a complete solution that enables business outcomes. To do this, you can engage with CDI in many ways. We help our customers build strategies and architectures and executable technology roadmaps. Customers can also purchase our partners' products through us and then leverage our professional services organization to implement, integrate, and migrate to these technologies. They can also leverage CDI's managed services business to help operate and optimize all aspects or components of your infrastructure environment. I'd like to take this opportunity to look a little deeper into each of the pillars of the foundation and to provide some examples of how we're helping customers in each area. Let's start with the hybrid multi-cloud. As I stated before, the hybrid cloud infrastructure is the bedrock of the digital foundation. When we think about the hybrid cloud and infrastructure solutions in general, we do so in the context of the business and application services that the infrastructure supports. Taking a top-down approach from business to application to infrastructure when we're designing infrastructure ensures that the infrastructure is fit for purpose to meet the needs of the business. When engaging our customers, we seek an understanding of their application portfolio and determine with each group of application stakeholders how best to build supporting infrastructure. Many of you are likely familiar with the 6 R's. Retain, which applications will I keep in their current form? Rehost, which applications will I keep in their current form but perhaps migrate them to the public cloud or repatriate them from the public cloud back to the data center? Replatform, which applications will I move to modern infrastructure platforms that take advantage of higher levels of abstraction like container platforms and database services? Refactor, which applications will I completely rewrite? Or these might be opportunities for net new cloud-native greenfield applications. And then finally, retire and replace, which applications will we simply get rid of because they're no longer necessary, and which will we replace with SaaS services. We sometimes call this shop and drop. This decision needs to be made for each application in a customer's environment, and the infrastructure considerations for each varies greatly. CDI, together with our group of trusted partners, can help evaluate how to architect and build infrastructure for each of your applications, regardless of which path or which R you choose. We have a deep expertise in all aspects of the software-defined data center, including software-defined networking, software-defined storage, backup, data protection, converged and hyper-converged infrastructure, as well as public cloud infrastructure and more modern technologies like container platforms and serverless computing. During the COVID-19 pandemic, CDI has seen an increased market demand for rapid migration to the cloud. One specific solution that answers this call is VMware Cloud on AWS. VMC on AWS brings VMware's software-defined data center portfolio to the AWS bare metal servers. VMware Cloud on AWS enables IT teams to manage their cloud-based resources with familiar VMware tools without the hassles of learning new skills or utilizing new tools. VMC, together with VMware Hybrid Cloud Extension, or HCX, enables customers to perform downtime-free migrations of applications to and from the AWS cloud. We've been talking for years, literally years, about how to be able to vMotion workloads to and from the public cloud. And now today, with this technology, it's finally possible. CDI has helped customers deploy VMC for data center expansion, data center evacuation, disaster recovery to the cloud, and VDI use cases. CDI is a VMware Master Service Competency holder for VMware Cloud on AWS, which means that we are one of just a handful of preferred and certified partners to help customers size, implement, and support this technology. A great example of a customer leveraging this technology is Vice Media. Vice Media is a Canadian-American print magazine that focuses on lifestyle, the arts, culture, and news and politics. The organization has a number of corporate-based applications that they do not intend to refactor and are working with CDI to build a VMware SDDC in AWS and then migrate those applications using HCX to the VMC cluster. In addition, on the content side of their business, they have a significant cloud-native landscape already deployed, and as such will take advantage of connecting the VMC cluster to the native AWS environment. The company is also considering redeploying their existing on-premises estate as a DR location for the workload that is running in the VMC cluster. This would leave them with cloud-native workload, VMware-based workloads in the cloud, and VMware-based workloads in their on-premises data center, which is the true embodiment of the hybrid multi-cloud. Let's now move on to DevOps. As we established before, the hybrid cloud exists to support applications. This means that it is critical that the hybrid cloud services provided by IT must be easy and quick for developers to access and to consume. In the application world, organizations everywhere are adopting DevOps principles aimed at reducing the time that it takes to develop, to test, to deploy, and ultimately to release applications and features into the hands of their end users. Teams that are adopting DevOps culture, practices, and tools become high-performing organizations that build products faster, with higher quality, and ultimately experience great customer satisfaction and competitive advantage in the market. The challenge, quite frankly, that we've observed is that many application and DevOps teams have turned their backs on IT and have gone directly to the cloud because traditionally IT services were too difficult to get in a timely fashion. These teams are taking advantage of the simplicity of cloud and its near instantaneous access to infrastructure services. This near instant access to resource enables these teams to adopt a concept called immutable infrastructure. The concept of immutable infrastructure means that once servers are deployed, they're never modified. If something needs to be changed, fixed, or modified in any way, new servers are built from a common image with the changes already applied, and the old ones are simply destroyed. Infrastructure immutability ensures that environments like development and test and QA, staging, and production are all always exactly the same. This significantly increases the reliability of application deployments. In the typical data center, organizations are unable to adopt immutable concepts because it often takes the business a month or longer just to get access to a simple virtual server, and even longer than that to get all the necessary networking and security and operational components for that server in place. Because it takes so long to get infrastructure on premises, developers provision multiple environments up front, and then they hold on to them forever. We've all experienced this. In this scenario, application teams deploy their apps to the same set of infrastructure over and over again. And what happens along the way is that inevitably changes are made to those infrastructure environments from one environment to the next. Before long, dev starts to look nothing like QA, and QA looks nothing like production. This presents multiple challenges like over-provisioning of environments, wasted resource and cost, increased risk associated with modifying existing servers during application deployments, and configuration drift of infrastructure and applications, which introduces operational complexity and opportunity for failures that are incredibly difficult to troubleshoot and recover from because of unknown low-level differences between environments. CDI is working with many customers today to streamline the infrastructure provisioning process so that customers can offer the public cloud experience both in the cloud and in the data center for traditional workloads and for containerized workloads. The application experience starts with self-service on-demand access to these infrastructure services using forms-based service catalogs or APIs so that our friends in development can programmatically integrate access to these infrastructure services with their desired tool chains. The system manages the full lifecycle of infrastructure and all of its required components like networking, security, data protection, monitoring, and automatic updates to the CMDB as an example. With end-to-end automation in place, customers can now actually get to immutable infrastructure in all environments, not just in the public cloud. In this customer example, CDI worked with a global financial services company to automate the delivery of Linux virtual machines from end to end. With this building block in place, we added capabilities to include distributed multi-machine blueprints with application services like Tomcat, MQ, and Oracle, so that developers can deploy complete application stacks on demand. The system features dynamic workload placement based on capacity, integration with IP address management systems, integration with configuration management systems, monitoring and security tools, and automated backups through policy assignment. We used a combination of automation tools like VMware's vRealize Automation, Chef, Ansible, and others to achieve end-to-end automation of server builds and configurations. These services are consumable both via graphical interface or via APIs, which are being called from the organization's Jenkins pipelines. To the developer, the experience is exactly the same that they would get in the public cloud, but inside the four walls of the data center. To this point, we've talked about hybrid infrastructure and applying DevOps and automation principles to automate the consumption of that infrastructure. But now let's shift our attention to operations. The expansion and diversification of cloud and infrastructure services drives a lot of operational complexity. Customers today have workloads running in multiple locations, spread across multiple cloud service providers. They have traditional workloads running on physical and virtual machines, and modern workloads that make use of containerization, PaaS, and serverless platforms. Our jobs, simply put, from an operational standpoint, have gotten harder because we have more things to look after and more places to look after them. All of this is happening as board directives demand doing more with less, and there's mounting pressure to continue to meet customer SLAs and to deliver a seamless, reliable customer experience. The only realistic approach to solving for this operational complexity in a hybrid cloud environment is to leverage automation in our operational practices. Utilizing automation can offload simple tasks and free up the operations teams to focus on more meaningful work. The first step in automating anything is being aware of it. Customers need to establish end-to-end visibility and mapping of business services, application services, and the underlying infrastructure. Just like when we talked about understanding the application landscape when designing and building infrastructure, having this level of visibility and ultimately a linkage of these business and application and infrastructure components offers tremendous value from an operations perspective. It means that change managers can make data-driven decisions about approving changes to systems because they have a clear understanding of what is potentially impacted should that change not go as planned. It also means that when components in a system fail, there's a clear understanding of who is impacted, what is impacted, and therefore who needs to be notified and who needs to be engaged to help triage and ultimately resolve and restore service. Visibility alone can have a positive impact on driving down important metrics like mean time to identify and ultimately mean time to resolving issues. This visibility is afforded to us by implementing a real-time CMDB. CDI has helped numerous companies with hybrid IT environments on global scales implement real-time CMDBs. We start by importing configuration items to the CMDB using discovery technology like ServiceNow's discovery product as a baseline. We can then enrich that data with additional tools that offer different perspectives, like APM tools, like AppDynamics as an example. With the CIs in the database, we can then leverage application dependency mapping technology like ServiceNow's service mapping product. This automates the generation of business service maps and achieves the linkage that we discussed earlier. Visibility of application and business services paves the way for additional opportunities for automation in our operational environments. The next area we'll look at is event management. Most of our customers already have different types of monitoring tools within their environments. And most of the time, when issues occur, there's more than one tool notifying more than one group of people. What this leads to is confusion, finger pointing, war room calls, and ultimately longer time to identify and to resolve problems, which negatively impacts the customer experience. CDI has helped customers solve for these challenges using a number of different event management solutions, many of which utilize things like artificial intelligence and machine learning models to filter, to correlate, and to consolidate the number of actionable events that IT practitioners need to work on. Taking this one step further is by applying automation and orchestration capabilities to actually execute or attempt remedial action once the event management system determines root cause. To visualize this, let's go to a video demonstration. Here we will demonstrate zero-touch outage remediation. In the ServiceNow Event Management Console, I can see a list of all of the business services that IT manages to support company operations. The application we will focus on, in this case, is a financial application called AD Financial. Based on the colors on the dashboard, things are looking pretty good. Under the covers, each business service is being monitored by various systems to report and notify on application and service health. In this case, our AD Financial application is being monitored by a tool called AppDynamics. In the AppDynamics console, we can see all of the traffic flows between the different components of the application. Here we can see that our application is healthy. In the middle of the night, one of the components of the application experiences an outage. AppDynamics correctly identifies the outage and takes action by sending the event data to ServiceNow. When ServiceNow receives the alert from AppDynamics, we know there is a problem because the business service changes to red on the event management dashboard, and the inbound alert is shown at the bottom. If you notice, the inbound event generated an incident for inspection by the necessary IT support team. The NOC engineer can attempt to have the system remediate the problem by opening the details of the business service, which displays the business service map. On the business service map, we can see the specific component of the application and attempt to execute known remedial steps or standard operating procedures that have been automated with code. In this case, the NOC engineer can execute the remediation action, which will restart the failed application component and bring the service back to health. In the process, the incident is automatically marked into a resolved state and the dashboard returns green. In this simple example, we demonstrated how we can automate the detection, documentation, and remediation of application or infrastructure outages. CDI is helping customers with all aspects of intelligent operations. We routinely meet with clients to build these integrated systems and then work with them to onboard additional automation use cases to optimize their environments over time. You can see here how at scale these integrated capabilities answer the do more with less directive, how it improves your end user's experience and also the quality of life of your operations staff. Let's move on to the enterprise workflow portfolio. In our personal consumer lives, we have become accustomed to great digital experiences. Nearly every day, I order coffee from a mobile app experience, and minutes later, I can pick it up at the drive-in window. I can order groceries online and have them delivered to my house. I can do the same with prescriptions from the pharmacy, and I can send money to virtually anyone on the planet with an email address instantaneously with Venmo. One of my favorite things to do is to shop on Amazon. Amazon has become my preferred shopping experience because they make it so easy for me to get what I need at what I consider a great price, and I don't have to think about it. The interesting thing about all of these experiences is that most people don't think about or care to think about how complicated it is to deliver this type of simplicity behind the scenes. In all of the examples, all of these experiences are enabled by digital workflows. In the Amazon example, clicking the yellow Submit Order button is just the beginning of the workflow. Behind the scenes, there's an unbelievably complex workflow that Amazon has created to process a bank transaction and then initiate a pick, pack, and ship process to get my order on its way to me. This workflow is made possible by multiple integrated systems, all working together to create this experience. These digital experiences in our personal lives have bled into our expectations in the workplace. When a customer or an internal employee requests something from your business, they don't have the time or the patience to wait for the industry average of 3 days to fulfill a support request. They want instant gratification and a great, high-touch, personalized experience along the way. CDI has an entire practice devoted to assisting customers in designing and building digital workflows that deliver the consumer simplicity that we crave in the workplace. We have built a team of capable process consultants, architects, and developers that work with your internal teams to make this a reality. Our process consultants have the expertise to help you understand and simplify your business processes. This role is essential. We talk with many different companies, and one common theme we come across is that automating existing process that's as is without modification does not always yield the best results. We must redesign process with automation in mind at the forefront to get the outcomes that we're looking for. With the process optimized for automation, our technical architects then can help you to select and design the best technology products, solutions, and integration points to digitize the workflow. After that's finished, our developers can work hand in hand with your team to develop, test, and ultimately implement these workflows into your environment. CDI has helped customers with optimizing and automating many of their ITSM processes. We also have expertise in security incident response, in HR workflows like onboarding and offboarding, and in the development of enterprise service catalogs and customer-facing service portals. The team has decades of experience and hundreds of implementations across virtually all verticals and all customer shapes and sizes under their belt. Let's look at some examples. Let's explore an ITSM case study. Deerfield Management Company is an investment firm dedicated to advancing healthcare through information, investment, and philanthropy, all toward the end goal of cures for disease, improved quality of life, and reduced cost in care. Deerfield implemented ServiceNow late last year and continued maturing their ITSM processes to position themselves to drive automated workflows through their service portal. Deerfield engaged our team of business process consultants to help them evaluate their processes, simplify back-end fulfillment tasks, eliminate manual steps, and create workflow-driven catalog items. We agreed on a vast list of new catalog items that employees could access via their service portal, which included things like access provisioning, hardware procurement, and software installation. We planned for a go-live of these new workflows on Monday, March 16th. Little did we know at the time, that very same Monday would be the first day all employees were forced to work from home due to COVID-19. This portal launch became exponentially critical within a matter of moments. As a result of fortunate timing, Deerfield's IT team was in a much better position to start supporting a fully remote workforce with very little notice to prepare. The newly designed automated workflows freed up resources to focus on supporting more complex scenarios while giving users the simplicity of getting what they needed on demand. This use case is a prime example of delivering value to customers by reducing operational strain on their teams. Now let's look at a customer service management example. TradeWeb is a financial services company that builds and operates electronic over-the-counter marketplaces for companies that trade fixed income and derivatives. TradeWeb was looking for a global customer service solution to address challenges they were having servicing their clients. They were experiencing poor customer experience, inefficient routing of issues, multiple associates working on the same issues at the same time, no SLAs or KPIs, and an inability to access reports or track patterns due to a lack of centralized data. TradeWeb desired to maintain a high-touch, personalized human experience as part of their solution. In working with our architects and our engineers, it was determined that ServiceNow's customer service management product would be a great fit. CDI helped TradeWeb implement CSM as a central source of ingestion for their requests. They preferred to provide customers with the ability to raise requests via their sales executive, via email, or a phone call. The end result, a centralized system and team that manages all cases and routes issues to the correct teams for resolution, each with SLAs applied with notifications that are sent prior to breaches. A centralized source of information also allowed their executive team to obtain current and accurate reporting, and since they now have historical data, they're able to establish KPIs and identify trends over time. CDI first rolled out the system to the firm's London operation and later expanded it to the United States operations as well. This use case highlights the ability to be creative with technology in order to deliver a white-glove, high-touch experience while having automation and efficiencies driving the back end. In this last example, we partnered with a large New York City-based law firm to transition their employee onboarding process into ServiceNow. Most of the fulfillment activities previously were tracked in spreadsheets and handled by different teams, so you can imagine the difficulty in keeping track of the requests during this process. We leveraged some of the customer's existing functionality in ServiceNow, wrapped that into the IT onboarding process, and expanded the offering to include all onboarding fulfillment activities within ServiceNow. The solution that was developed is highly scalable and will allow for iterative enhancements to add new workflow processes centered around onboarding and offboarding. The customer now has complete transparency into not only the IT fulfillment process, but also end-user transparency that's provided by system-generated notifications during the fulfillment. We were also able to integrate with the customer's HR application to feed employee data directly into ServiceNow and provide audit capability around system-generated data against user-modified data. I think we can all agree that IT onboarding is something that most companies have to deal with in one form or another, and by leveraging ServiceNow's platform, we were able to standardize the IT onboarding fulfillment process and ensure that employee time to productivity and value is as low as possible. The pillar that is very real for us all right now is digital workspace. Ready or not, organizations have had to immediately enable their workforces to be effective remotely. Before COVID-19, most of our customers were operating somewhere between 10 and 20% remote workforce. And in a very short period of time, that number spiked to almost 100% for most of them. The global pandemic has forced us to reevaluate how and where we conduct our business. Many of us are realizing that we can get by without having employees commuting daily to offices for face-to-face meetings. In fact, we've heard that many employees find that they are more productive at home in a remote setting. Executives and leaders are also taking advantage of being at home. Leaders can drop in to team meetings happening all over the world in a single day, allowing them to be more connected to their workforces and to lead in more natural ways. The reduction in commuting time and air travel is having social and ecological impacts as well. Fewer cars on the road, people in offices, and planes in the sky reduces addition to the carbon footprint and enables employees to spend more time at home with their families. We've seen companies like Twitter and Facebook offer permanent work-from-home policies for employees that desire it, and we think that many other organizations will follow suit. I think for all intents and purposes, it's safe to say there is no more work from home. There's just work. What makes work work is collaboration technology. Technology is keeping us connected in meaningful ways during a time where we can't connect in the traditional sense. CDI's digital workspace portfolio includes a diverse set of products that cover chat and IM, voice, video, screen share, file share, mobile management, and collaboration solutions. This is a crowded space, and CDI has experiences integrating many of these technologies and platforms together to ensure that employees can be as productive as possible. A customer I'd like to call out is MarketAxess. MarketAxess is an international financial technology company that operates an electronic trading platform for the institutional credit markets. They also provide market data and post-trade services. It enables institutional investors and broker-dealers to trade credit instruments, including corporate bonds and other types of fixed income products. CDI worked with MarketAxess to integrate their Cisco Unified Communications Manager phone system with Microsoft Teams. CDI Managed Services and CDI Cloud support much of MarketAxess's infrastructure, along with its Cisco collaboration applications. MarketAxess called on CDI when they wanted to design and implement Microsoft Teams direct routing interoperability with their Cisco Unified Communications Manager. CDI successfully implemented Microsoft Teams direct routing utilizing Cisco Unified Communications Manager as the PSTN engine. MarketAxess now has the capability to use Microsoft Teams or Cisco Unified Communications Manager as their telephony endpoint. Both devices can ring simultaneously, or they can just use one or the other with the same enterprise dial plan that was already in place. To hear more about this story, I'd like to welcome John Santarelli, Head of Networking at MarketAxess. Hey John, thanks for being here with us today. Can you start us off by talking about how your digital workspace environment has evolved over the past 6 months?
So in the last 6 months, we kind of struggled as we were trying to get onto Teams as a platform. We own the product. We had trying to get from 0 to 100 was a little bit of an issue for us. We didn't want to impact users, and the user experience was a real concern for us as we migrated users from their current communications platform onto Teams. So the migration in the beginning of 2020 from January to, let's say, March was a little bit slow. And then once COVID happened and there was a transition period where everybody started working remotely, there was a massive shift. And then we moved everybody from their current communications and then added them to Teams as a platform. And it just worked. That was the big benefit for us with Teams is we always knew that Teams just works. And now all the end users got to experience that it just worked. We had a couple people in the firm using Teams beforehand where they were doing it for video, where they were meeting with their individual Scrum teams. But now we have every user across the platform, across the company using Teams. And it's just an amazing platform. It was so simple to roll out. And it really changed how we operate moving forward from a communication perspective.
Awesome. So can you talk a little bit about how users have adopted the platform and how you're keeping people connected in a time where they can't really be connected in the traditional sense?
So one of the great experiences that I had working at Market Access is that the company has always had a relaxed feel. It never really felt like work. It was more fun. And the people that I worked with were always colleagues and friends. I love working at Market Access. Now, once COVID happened and everybody had to scatter and go home, that personality that we had inside the office kind of fell apart. So we struggled to keep people together. But what we did is in Teams, we made fun chats where we had our users take pictures of their dogs where, hey, this is my dog. This is my new work buddy. And they show the picture of their dog. We talk about how, hey, what was your favorite plans with summer vacation last year? What were you going to do that you missed? Tell me a little bit about yourself. Every week we have a new challenge or a new company-wide event where it's a new question. Tell me a piece about your family history. Tell me a little bit about what are your plans for when this whole thing ends. And that really brought us together as a company and brought us together as individuals, because now seeing, like you guys see my house right now and you say, oh, John, I didn't know you had a fireplace. Now I can see somebody's background and then ask them a question. Hey, I didn't know you like art. Tell me a little bit more. And then we actually get more personally involved with our coworkers and our friends at work, and it brings us all closer together. So video chat with Teams brought us closer together in a way that I never imagined possible. And I don't think even Microsoft imagined possible with Teams as a product to bring people together like that in a more personal way. So Teams really helped us stay together a lot after COVID happened, and we're going to utilize this product and these features moving forward. I mean, there's no way to go back now. Once you taste this, it's just a massive change.
Yeah, I agree. I think we've noticed a lot of the same things around CDI as well. So I was going to ask, as you look forward, as things return to normal and people start coming back to the office, how do you think this taste of technology, to your point, impacts work long term?
So pre-COVID, one of the issues that we've always had, and I imagine every company had this problem, is everything was a meeting. Unless you're sitting next to somebody or unless you could walk up to somebody's desk, everything had to be a meeting. Everything had to be 30-minute blocks or 15-minute blocks. Hey, put something on my calendar and we'll get together. Post-COVID, you kind of lost that ability to do meetings. Everything had to be ad hoc. It's now, let me pick up the phone and call somebody because everybody's remote. And when some people are remote and some people aren't, it's a little bit difficult to operate. But now that everybody's remote, we all experience that same pain point. So with post-COVID and after this whole thing calms down, long-term, how we are going to use this product is there's going to be a lot less, I envision there's going to be a lot less structured meetings and more ad hoc. Hey, let me just call John on Teams and say, hey, how you doing? I got a quick question for you. Let me hit you up on chat, and we could share documents on the fly. One of the things that I noticed is I actually hired 2 new employees on my networking team during the COVID crisis, and I'm using the whiteboard feature inside of Teams on my iPad almost daily, where I could just click share and my whiteboard pops up on my Mac, and I have my iPad and I'm drawing with my iPad, and it's showing seamlessly on my Mac, and everybody could see that. And that changed how I do new hires. because now every day I say, hey guys, come on, let's have a quick conversation, a quick chat, and we could share this. So moving forward, at least for me and my team, Teams is here to stay, and it's going to change how I do new hires and collaboration across my team forever.
Wow, that's great. So from a telephony integration standpoint, can you talk a little bit about the implementation process and the ongoing management and what your experience was like with CDI during that whole thing?
So one of the big benefits that we saw with Teams, besides the video and the full collaboration, is that we had the ability to actually start taking inbound and outbound phone calls from our PSTN in Teams. In that Teams UI, it was now a full suite of collaboration where we have inbound and outbound PSTN calls, video chat, IM presence, so IM and P. We had the ability to share documents and files, and now we could do 4-digit dialing in-house. One of the concerns that we had is, as we start doing 4-digit dialing, what about somebody that's on their classic Cisco desk phone and some of our tech-savvy employees that only want to use Teams? So working with CDI, we have now the ability to have our Teams UI call our Cisco desk phones through SIP, and it's fully managed and fully integrated by CDI. So they did the deployment for us and the design, and now they manage the products for us with VMs in their data center. It's all fully managed. This has probably been one of the best experiences that I've had with AV. Now, I don't like to bundle Teams as an AV product because AV across the world has a bad persona, but this is audio and video. So this has been the best experience that we've had using Teams with CDI for AV. I mean, it's a lifesaver, actually.
Oh, that's great. Well, hey, John, thanks for coming on today. Thanks for agreeing to do this for us. Thanks for sharing your experiences. Yep. Thanks for being a great CDI customer and partner of ours. We appreciate it, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you. Well, work from home certainly is on the rise. That doesn't mean offices everywhere will permanently shut down. Workforce restoration strategies are top of mind as organizations prepare for employees to safely return to the workplace. Difficult but important questions are being asked about how organizations can ensure the safety of their employees and their communities. How do they monitor employee-to-employee and employee-to-visitor interactions to trace contacts of infected individuals? How do they conduct incident response? How do they implement and enforce social distancing protocols in the office? What privacy concerns need to be considered? CDI has developed a workforce restoration solution that simplifies the complex workflows involved with ramping up for the new work reality. These custom solutions integrate with your existing IT toolsets and can help identify and track at-risk employees, allowing your enterprise to respond quickly and safely maintain business operations. Our customizable system allows for compliance with individual company policies, as well as federal, state, and CDC guidelines. That covers all sections of the digital foundation. You've heard today why it is important to execute your digital transformation on a solid foundation, and you've heard how CDI is helping many of its clients in one or multiple areas. We have some time today before the leadership panel begins, and I'd like to encourage everyone to click over to the expo area and visit the CDI booth. We have our team of sales and technical resources there waiting to answer any questions that you might have. Just be sure to come back here to the main stage at the top of the hour for the IT Leadership Roast with Jeff Ross. Thank you very much for your time today, and I'll see you at the top of the hour.